Palestine was the name of the region along the eastern Mediterranean Sea that came under British administration after World War One. It came to denote the territory between the Mediterranean Sea and the Jordan River, while the lands east of the Jordan River became known as Transjordan. In 1917, during World War One, the Ottoman Turkey intervened even though they were not invited to join in the war. With the weak power, Ottoman Turkey lost and the British Army occupied Jerusalem. At the same time, the British asked for help from the Jews by rewarding them with a place to live. Then, the British gave the land of Palestine to Lord Rothschild as a national home for the Jewish people. Britain issued what is known as the Balfour Declaration, supporting the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, a Muslim-majority area with small Christian and Jewish populations. This declaration would become a central part of the British mandate over Palestine. Jewish migration to Palestine began to increase. After the war, the League of Nations, the predecessor of the United Nations, gave Britain administrative power over the area. In the decades that followed, there was a large influx of Jewish refugees from Europe as many fled Nazi persecution under Hitler and during World War I, the Holocaust. The Jewish population in Palestine increased from 10% in 1917 to 30% in 1947 under the British mandate. The majority Palestinian population organized rebellions, fearing they would be displaced. 1947 UN Partition Plan. In 1947, as the end of the British mandate neared, the United Nations proposed partitioning Palestine into a Jewish state and a smaller Palestinian state, Jerusalem. A holy site for Jews, Christians, and Muslims, would be placed under an international trustee system. Palestinians rejected the proposal, which would have left them with less than half of their land and forced many from their homes. Zionist militias attacked Palestinian villages, causing thousands to flee.
That Israel is seeking in this region, since its creation, is to go to war. We are seeking peace. We are peace seekers. We went to peace with our neighbors time and time again. We are seeking peace. We are peace seekers.
وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُصْلِحُونَ ألا إنهم هم المفسدون ولكن لا يشعرون.
We are just peacemakers. Now, if you take this at face value, it just seems like more propaganda from the Zionist regime just trying to spread lies to justify their genocide in Gaza. But when you compare this to verses in the Quran, specifically from chapter 2, Surah Al-Baqarah, you are astounded by the miracles that you find. In chapter 2, verse 11, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when they are told, do not spread corruption in the earth, they respond, we are only peacemakers. Other than the terrifying similarity between the Israelis' response and what is written in the Quran, it is also so clear to see that this is a common pattern of people who cause corruption or people who cause mischief on earth. Constantly try to sell us their corruption and their mischief and their violence as peace and justice. Not only does this show us the level of corruption that the Zionist regime is spreading in Palestine and all across the world, it is also giving us a deeper appreciation of the Quran's miracles and infinite wisdom. And the Quran was revealed over 1400 years ago, and yet it is still teaching us what these wrongdoers will say, how they will react when they are told, do not spread mischief on earth. Furthermore, if this does anything for you, it should at least give you an appreciation of the faith and resilience that the people of Gaza have, the connection they have with their faith, and how they use that to grant them strength through these difficulties. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deal justly with those who cause corruption and mischief in the earth, and may He grant the people of Gaza strength and accept their martyrs. Ya Rabbil Alameen.
Palestinian voices not being on American television or in American print is one of the biggest problems when it comes to our coverage of this conflict. When we talk about why the media is structurally biased towards one party in this conflict, the more powerful party, the occupier, we have to remember that this is one of the reasons. Why are Palestinians dehumanized in our media? This is one of the reasons. If we don't let people speak, that's what leads to dehumanization. We understand it at home when it comes to, for example, black voices. In recent years, media organizations have tried to take steps to improve diversity on air. When it comes to on-air talent, when it comes to on-air guests, when it comes to balancing panels, we get that we need underrepresented communities to be able to speak. But when it comes to foreign conflicts, we still don't seem to have made that calculation. We deny these people a voice. And then we wonder why people don't sympathize with their plight or aren't marching in the streets. Well, they are marching in the streets, but in bigger numbers. Why America is okay and kind of, blind to the fact that we are complicit in a genocide of these people, because we don't hear from these people.
For those people who are concerned about an end to violence, know that when this spectacular violence is, the image of violence is over, that the violence against Palestinians will continue. Palestinians in the Gaza Strip have been subject to 15 years of siege, where their caloric intake has been regulated and maintained at a particular level. I want to emphasize to people that Israel has been an occupying power of Gaza since 1967 and has been oppressing Palestinians for decades. Hamas was only established in 1987, launched its first rocket in 2001. So how do you explain Israel's oppression of Palestinians in all that time if we're only focusing on what is the rocket attacks and not the structure of violence that Israel metes out over all Palestinians across a single geography without distinction?
الأرض منذ خلقت مزيفة والعدل في الأرض لا عدل ولا ذمم.
مين معاه؟ يا ربي يا حمد يا رب يا حمد يا رب. الله يخير اهدى بقى. خلاص اهدى. نمشي ندور خلاص.
وإذا قضى بعضهم